Oh, he keeps talking about people wearing dresses. No, it's not.
That is a weird thing.
It's not like that. Look at it from a different way. Look at it. Show me one person that ever wore a dress in Hollywood unsuccessfully.
It might be too tall, might be too short, might be too dark, might be too light. They may decide they want to go Hispanic, or they want to go woman. Or you may remind the casting director of their brother-in-law.
Has this been difficult for you?
Yeah. Because when you watch someone who you know and love, go through what he's going through.
Katt Williams may have just confirmed something Malcolm-Jamal Warner had been trying to warn us about for years, and we just didn't pay attention.
It is possible that there isn't anything funnier than a guy in a dress.
Now, looking back, those cryptic interviews and soft-spoken warnings from Malcolm don't seem so innocent anymore.
I am tired of running for shade. And aren't you tired of being hustled and played? And aren't we all tired of crying about how hard it is to be black in America, even if it looks like we've got it made?
Was he trying to sound the alarm on the industry, the people in his circle, or was it something even deeper, something far more sinister? Let's break it all down. Katt Williams has been shouting into the abyss for over a decade, trying to expose what happens to black men in Hollywood who reach a certain level of influence and clarity. His wild interviews, once brushed off as rants or bitterness, now feel more like coded messages, a survival guide for those navigating a system that profits off you until you stop obeying. Katt subtly hinted that countless black artists have hit the same invisible wall, and based on his patterns, it's hard not to believe that some higher power has been strategically tearing down black excellence once it gets too real for comfort. I've never seen media wear pants. I think she wears dresses. So why target Kevin Hart? According to Katt, because it was simply his turn. Then it gets even darker. Williams pulled back the curtain on what he called a hidden elite circle. Yes, that society, the one long whispered about in conspiracy corners. The Illuminati. And he wasn't alone in his suspicions. Even The Guardian hinted at this good club, a quiet gathering of the world's richest and most powerful figures. This so-called good club reportedly includes global titans like Bill Gates, George Soros, Warren Buffett, Oprah Winfrey, David Rockefeller, Ted Turner, and elusive billionaires like Eli and Edith Broad. Williams didn't just name them, he outlined what he believed to be their long-term agenda, and he issued a clear warning to black entertainers. Don't fall into their trap.
Not necessary for us to store up that hornet's nest unless we intend to get stung a million times.
Sure, it might sound like a stretch, but Katt doubled down. He swore his message was real, because he's lived it.
So I didn't understand that. They had to sting me a million times. I'm still not going to join, but I respected them.
And according to him, he wasn't the only one. He chose to speak up, but at a cost that nearly destroyed him.
So I know how much they talked about Martin Luther King, and I know what they end up doing to him. I know this same story about Jesus and a few of my uncles.
After enduring years of pushback, Katt Williams finally admitted the truth. His unfiltered honesty and bold callouts didn't just spark controversy. They made him a target. The system never appreciated his raw truth. It weaponized his words, flipped them into ammunition, and fed them right back to destroy him. And guess who's quietly cashing in on the chaos? That's right, the ever-elusive Illuminati.
Doesn't mean I always make the right decisions, but I am gonna stand by what I stand for.
And let's not overlook how fearless Katt didn't just tiptoe around the truth. He outright exposed the real story behind Bernie Mac's fate. He cracked open one of Hollywood's most tightly locked vaults, and didn't blink.
I know that the people that made money off Bernie Mac didn't like him. They hated his guts.
Shocked by Katt's truth bomb about his former idol, hold on, he wasn't done. He went on to claim that the infamous Oscar slap heard around the world. Staged, and Katt ain't just some outsider. He's been deep in the production trenches. He knows how the sausage gets made.
Industry is canceling one black guy. I know what happens when they are going to elevate another. And I know what happens when they don't care about either.
You may have believed Will had a real emotional breakdown on live TV, but let's not kid ourselves. Will Smith is a seasoned industry heavyweight. He doesn't just slip on global stages like that. It reeked of orchestration.
300 corporations that are a part of the Will Smith business operation. That is the $20 million a movie mega thing that Will Smith.
Katt Williams wasn't just talking noise. He exposed the playbook. Hollywood's calculated mission to degrade and distort the image of black men. With Terrence Howard calling out coded agendas and Denzel Washington rejecting stereotypical roles, the resistance was growing, and now, the quietest soldier may have been warning us all along. Malcolm-Jamal Warner. He was always the respectable, controversy-free face of black Hollywood. Raised on America's favorite sitcom.com, humble, never messy. But that's exactly what made him invisible. And near the end, he knew it. You could see it in his eyes, the weight, the shift. He began speaking more truthfully, not just about roles, but about who controls the narrative and what it costs to stay silent. In his final podcast episode, Not All Hood, released just 48 hours before his death, Malcolm got real. No filters, no fluff. He talked about a recent moment with spoken word artist Tama Georgia Harper. When he mentioned his show title, she replied, "Ain't nothing wrong with the hood." That one line cracked something open in him. He saw it how media cherry picks the struggle while erasing the power, pride, and beauty in black culture. And just like that, it started to sound less like a podcast and more like a farewell.
The reason for the title is combating the narrative of black life, black culture that the media focuses on.
He wasn't just pulling away from the hood, he was confronting the system that exploits it. In Malcolm's own words, the hood has always been the birthplace of American culture. That wasn't just commentary. It was a bold truth about erasure, exploitation, and a stolen legacy that Hollywood spent decades trying to bury. In one of his final interviews, Malcolm said something that now feels like a warning we all ignored. Black survival in America is black excellence. It wasn't just a powerful phrase, it was a heartbreaking truth. Because for so many, it's not about fame or success. It's about surviving, mentally, emotionally, and sometimes, literally. Malcolm made it clear awards don't matter. When the system is designed to silence you, we're not all from the hood. The black community isn't one thing. We are layered, complex, and deserving of space to share all our stories. That line hit deep then. Now, after his sudden death, it cuts even deeper. It's almost like Malcolm saw it coming, like he knew. The clock was ticking and used his final moment to expose what black life in America is really about. Not just surviving, but surviving with dignity, with strength, and with purpose. And just 48 hours after that vulnerable moment, he was gone too. An entire generation. Malcolm-Jamal Warner was Theo Huxtable the goofy, lovable teen from The Cosby Show. For many, he wasn't just a character, he was family. Week after week, he showed us what it looked like to grow up, laugh, and learn. That image followed him into adulthood, steady, likable, safe. But behind that familiar face was a man who had weathered real storms. And if you're looking for controversy or chaos, you won't find it. What you will find, a story of quiet resilience. A man who carried the weight of a legacy tainted by someone else's crimes and did it with grace. While other child stars crashed and burned, Malcolm transformed. He didn't fade, he evolved, creating art, speaking truth, and turning silence into power. One of the deepest wounds in his career wasn't something he caused, it was something he got pulled into. The Bill Cosby scandal. And it put Malcolm in an impossible position. He was torn between staying loyal to the man who gave him his first chance and facing the public outrage surrounding Cosby's crimes. To truly understand his pain, you have to understand how close they were. Cosby didn't just hire Warner. He mentored him, he shaped him. He handpicked 13-year-old Malcolm after a nationwide search. On set, Cosby led with humility and that taught Malcolm to stay grounded. 2. He even gave him timeless advice. Don't use trendy slang, it'll make the show feel dated. And decades later, when Malcolm watched those episodes with his own daughter, he admitted Cosby had been right. Their bond was more than actor and director. It was father and son, which made the betrayal that much harder to carry.
My biggest feeling is I feel sad for, just the way this whole, just the way the whole story has come about.
When over 50 women accused Bill Cosby of sexual assault, Malcolm-Jamal Warner was forced into the spotlight. His response wasn't a simple defense, it was thoughtful and emotional. In a 2015 interview, he admitted, "He's one of my mentors. Hearing any woman talk about that, true or not, is painful. But so is watching a friend and mentor go through this." He didn't defend Cosby, but he also refused to condemn him outright. "I can't defend him," he said, "but I won't throw him under the bus either." Warner also criticized how the media turned it all into a circus, pointing out that not every accusation was the same. He wasn't excusing Cosby. He was asking for nuance in a conversation that had become polarizing. But the deepest pain for Warner wasn't just personal, it was cultural. What hurt most was The Cosby Show being pulled from syndication. For him, that show wasn't just a gig, it was a milestone. We always had The Cosby Show to hold up against negative portrayals of black families, and now it's gone. In a few generations, the Huxtables will just be a fairy tale. He also pointed out the double standard. Woody Allen's and Roman Polanski's work remained on air, while The Cosby Show vanished. He didn't hide the financial loss either, saying, "It's literally money out of my pocket." Still, his perspective evolved. After a conversation with Keshia Knight, Pulliam, who played Rudy, reminded him how many young black kids were inspired to go to college because of the show. Warner shifted his focus. He realized the impact couldn't be erased, even if the man behind it had fallen. That emotional maturity defined him. Unlike many child stars, Warner didn't spiral. He kept his life low drama by choice. He worked to move past Theo, directing Kenan and Kel, becoming a Grammy-winning musician, and spoken-word artist. As an actor, he tackled a wide range from sitcoms like Malcolm and Eddie to serious shows like The Resident and American Crime Story. His grounded life, no accident. Warner credited his mom, Pamela, for keeping him focused and disciplined from day one. Even in the 80s, he was dropping wisdom. His 1988 book, Theo and Me, offered advice to young fans not about fame, but about staying smart and responsible. Over the years, he deepened that message. His Grammy-nominated spoken-word album, Hiding in Plain View, and short film, You Can't Hear Me, tackled issues like racism, mass incarceration, and deportation. These weren't just projects, they were statements. Shaped by a father who made sure he studied black leaders like Langston Hughes, he grew with purpose, not pressure, but behind that calm, strong image was real heartbreak too. One of the deepest, the death of Michelle Thomas's ex and co-star who played Justine on The Cosby Show. Though they had broken up in 1994, they stayed close. She passed away from cancer at just 30, and Warner was reportedly by her side. It was a quiet loss, but one that shaped his depth and seriousness forever. And this is exactly what Katt Williams has been warning about. That the moment a black entertainer starts breaking the rules, speaking up, exposing the system, they get labeled, silenced, erased. Katt's been saying it for years. You can only go so far before they remind you who really runs the game. It wasn't paranoia, it was a pattern. And Malcolm, he started seeing it too, and then he was gone. No tributes, no media storm, no Hollywood pause, just silence. The kind of silence that feels intentional. It's as if his death wasn't just ignored, it was erased, swept under the rug before anyone had a chance to ask questions. Because once you connect Katt's warnings to Malcolm's final podcast, it becomes clear someone didn't want us listening. Now, with this leaked footage from Katt, people are waking up. This isn't just celebrity drama. This is about a system that uses black men for talent and image but turns cold the moment they stop playing along. Katt has always been loud, the rebel they couldn't control. But Malcolm, he was the quiet one, the safe one, the one they never expected to push back, and when he finally did, it was subtle, but powerful. Now we're rewatching those interviews, those moments, and realizing they weren't just thoughts, they were warnings. Malcolm wasn't trying to go out with a bang, he was leaving breadcrumbs. And Katt just dropped the whole loaf. The question is, why did we wait this long to listen? And worse, who else tried to warn us before it was too late? That's it for today, folks. Until next time, stay aware.